This is the Xfinity now, officially Xfinity Ask Junior.
Oh, really?
Yep, they're back. We've got the overlay ready to go. There's no reads to do, but just we'll call it that now.
Alrighty.
Hey, everybody.
We are live.
Oh, all right. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Dale Jr. We're live at the Ask Junior portion of the show. And guess what? This portion is brought to you by Xfinity. They're back.
They're back.
Yeah.
Woo. Good for them.
They've been a great supporter of our podcasts for a couple of years, and now they're back again supporting their particular part of the show, the Ask Junior show, or Ask Junior segment. So we're excited about that. Thank you, Xfinity. I am a customer, and I enjoy being a customer of Xfinity. I've never had an outage.
There you go.
Can you believe that? I've been a customer of theirs for 2.5 years now. They didn't even know it.
They didn't know it?
They didn't know it. And no outage.
So there you go. Hey, listen, thank you, Xfinity. Yeah. Hannah Newhouse is here with some questions.
I'm even all the way on the end of the line.
What do you mean by that?
Like if there is to be an outage, you'd think it'd affect me first.
You're on the outskirts?
I'm on the very edge.
Yeah.
And no problems. I love it. Anyhow, we're just glad they're back. Hannah's here again. She's going to gather the questions that you guys have been sending in, and boy, I can't wait to hear what you got to ask this week.
Man, in the chat right now is absolutely blowing up. So we've got a ton of people that are joining us. But the first question here comes from Ryan Johnson. Have you started any iRacing preparation for your Xfinity start in Martinsville in a few weeks? It's coming up quick.
I saw that question. I did. I saw it on the timeline. I have not been running any Martinsville laps at iRacing. I should. That is a great idea, and iRacing is a good tool. I'm supposed to go to the Chevy Simulator in a couple days to get some laps in there, but I would prefer to do a lot of time on iRacing, and I'll probably start getting into that. I think today is the 29th, and my race is on the 8th. So I'll probably try to run a little bit of Martinsville in the 72 to 48 hours leading up to that Friday event.
And the next one here, little pop culture for you. J. Ralph wants to know, we all know that you aren't much for confrontations, but what do you think about the Will Smith Oscar incident?
I wish Will didn't do that. I like Chris Rock and think that you got to have, you got to know who was the host for years, Ricky Gervais.
Well, Ricky Gervais was the Golden Globes, and those were hilarious.
I mean, you got to know.
Roast.
Yeah, you got to know that things are going to get pretty serious in terms of the jokes, and so I wish that that gets handled a little differently. You talk to the guy afterwards, maybe say, "Hey, man, that really bothered me." I mean, some things can be personal, and that's okay. And you take it to that person and say, "Look, man, that I wish you wouldn't go there," right? I don't know. What do you think, Mike? I know you got an opinion.
I do.
You willing to give it live on YouTube?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, go ahead.
I tweeted something last night about, y'all remember the time when Joaquin Phoenix pulled one over on the entire world?
I saw that tweet, but I was too lazy to hit the link.
No, that's okay.
So what happened?
Well, he basically, it was a bit, and it was a thing that he had, and he convinced everybody. And I'm going to tell you something. It is an unpopular opinion. But if we find out in a year that it was actually orchestrated, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised that thing was actually orchestrated, because there are things about that I'm just not ready to go buy all in yet. One, Chris Rock leaned in. He didn't flinch. He didn't do anything. You look at the steel frames of that. He just did. It's almost as if he knew it was coming. I'm just saying. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
The other thing, the yelling from the front row seemed just so asinine to me, to yell at the Oscars just to yell out like that. That's why nobody approached it, because everybody assumed it was a bit, right? Like you didn't know to go, restrain Will Smith. I'm just saying, if in a year we found out it was actually a thing, I would not be surprised. Like the way we found out that Joaquin Phoenix was doing a movie.
Yeah. I think that it's real. I think that Will just lost his cool, and he regret. He's probably has a bit of regret. The other thing though is I was looking, and Chris has a comedy tour this summer with Kevin Hart, and so I think that it's in Chris's best interest to just make this work for him.
That's kind of also my point.
And
I mean, who is it going to go watch that now?
Yeah, like if Chris doesn't have 5 to 30 minutes of content, of new material, and even Kevin, right, could lean in on this a little bit, give Chris a hard time.
Yep. They will, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
I haven't watched the Academy Awards ever, and now you kind of have to. And I wasn't going to plan on watching the Kevin Hart, Chris Rock tour, but now you're kind of curious. Now, why would that be? I'm just saying, it feels like that everybody comes out looking pretty good out of this, and then you start to wonder, oh, wait, maybe there was something behind it. Yeah. I just wouldn't be surprised.
Next question.
Next question comes from John Boy. What prize would you like if you were attending the Dirty Mo Experience Suite at Charlotte? And that is if Mike will even let you in without buying a ticket.
No, wait a second.
That's actually on the question. Yeah.
Y'all giving away prizes?
We do give away prizes. Everybody walks out with a prize. Well, first of all, can I just say that Dale Jr. can't be at the Ultimate Experience because he's going to be at the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
That is right?
Yes, I'm working the 500.
Yeah.
I think I'm working the Derby and the 500 this year.
Nice.
Yeah. What kind of gift would I want? I don't know. I mean, what are we talking here? $50, $20, $10? What's the gift? What's the prices on these things?
And they were handing out fireball shots at the last one.
No. Let me
That's a
tell
good
you
gift.
the most popular gift.
There's
that
my
we give
gift.
away. No.
I don't want a fireball shot.
That's right.
But I want I would take a bag of actual fireball candy. That'd be me. I love fireballs.
Wait a second. The biggest gift, and there were two of them that people were so excited about at the last Ultimate Experience, was autographed bottles of High Rock vodka.
Yeah.
Okay.
People were ready to fight over those things. And now you wouldn't want it signed by you, but a bottle of High Rock vodka is a dang good prize to walk out of there with.
Are you talking about those like round big ones, like the fireball things? Or
That's all there are. That's
Okay.
the only fireball candy that I've ever heard of.
Red Hots? Yeah, okay.
What?
But those are Red Hots.
those aren't
yeah.
Fireballs.
Yeah, Okay.
You
You.
No, I just wanted to know. Like
who needs clarification on what a fireball candy is?
this dumbass.
This guy.
This dumbass.
Is anybody else on YouTube confused when I said fireball candy? What I was talking about? Only Dillner. God almighty.
All right. Moving on before Dillner digs a deeper hole. A couple people have actually asked this between last week and this week, but obviously with Hendrick announcing their track attack program going to Le Mans and kind of some insight on who could potentially be driving those cars, would that be something, if this program continues, something that maybe you would be interested in?
Oh, definitely not. So I'm not going to Le Mans to race. That's never happening. I want to go and watch it as a fan. I want to take it in. It's an amazing event. It's a historical event. One of the most historied motorsports events in the world every year. I want to see it. I want to witness it. But I mean that. I said the same thing. I said the same thing about the Daytona 24 the Daytona 24 Hours. Having been there and broadcasting and watching that event, the drivers in those cars are elite. They're not. They're not retired, 47-year-old NASCAR guys that have limited, moderate success at road courses. Those guys aren't clamoring to get in those cars, and there won't be one showing up at the Le Mans, and whoever they put in the car is going to be an established talent that has road course success, true road course success. But anyhow, I think that it's great. So there's been a lot of debate about why Hendrick? This ain't fair. What the heck? So here's my thoughts on all that. So I have said for a couple years now, having again been to the broadcast booth for the Daytona 24, there should be a NASCAR class in that race, and it shouldn't be like this extra. It shouldn't be this sort of fantasy class like they have in the Garage 58 or whatever it's called. It shouldn't be like this one-off thing. They should have a true stock car class in the 24 Hours of Daytona. Every organization from NASCAR, all of the charter teams, should be entering a car into that class. Should it factor into the NASCAR Points Championship? I don't think so. But it should be there, and it should be a test of durability for the next-gen car. And it would be a benefit to the teams to contribute their time to be able to understand and learn the car going forward. But I am all for them sending a car to Le Mans. It's been done in the past. I'm okay that it's Hendrick. I would have been fine if it was Gibbs. I don't think they're playing favorites. I don't think all the teams can literally afford to go do it. Some can, some can't. Although they would love to go, the feasibility and logistics of actually sending cars isn't in everybody's best interest or every organization's best interest. Let it be Hendrick, let it be whoever. Send a car over there, let the car run. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it can hurt anything. Is it a bit of an advantage for Hendrick? I don't think you can argue against that. I think surely it's going to be an advantage for Hendrick, but I think it's worth taking that risk that you allow this team to gain some knowledge by having a stock car in one of the most critical and important races in the world. Everybody's going to be tuning in to see how this car does, how the durability of the car is, and like I said, it's not a new thing. Who owned the car, the 90 car in '78?
Junie
Donlevy sent a car over there, and his car ran. I think the Wood brothers sent one over there. Didn't they?
I don't remember that, but that's cool.
Well, anyways, so it's not too crazy of an idea. So I don't know why there's any kind of real debate over why it's happening. Just let it happen. It's a good thing. It's good for us. It's good for everybody. And maybe next year there'll be a true class. There'll be a legitimate class, or there could be 5 or 6 or a dozen cars entered, and everybody gets to play.
They kind of did something similar on the West Coast when we got rid of those steel body cars.
Yeah.
They had that endurance steel body class that ran like all the West Coast road courses, and all the West teams were putting their drivers in those endurance races because you're going to learn how to drive one of these things for a couple hours. And you could tell who went and ran those races. It was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Cool social experiment. Next one here. What are a few things you think NASCAR can do to continue helping shine the light on local short track racing? From Tyler.
Well, I think that for NASCAR to shine a light on local short tracks. So way back in the 80s and 90s, Winston, when they were sponsoring the NASCAR Cup Series, the Winston Cup Series, they also sponsored the regional series. They every track that was NASCAR sanctioned got buckets of red and white paint, and there was Winston signage at every racetrack, and they truly supported grassroots racing. Winston did, and that connected the Friday night and the Saturday night racer to the Cup level, and that legitimized short track racing, and it also legitimized the pipeline up to the Cup level for those drivers, right? It made them believe that there really might be a path, right? And it was realistic. That's kind of been gone. There's where is the pipeline, or where is that connection, right? And what is the link, visible link, from NASCAR at the Cup level down to these short tracks all over the country? NBC has, I've been a witness to some of the efforts that NBC's done with their grassroots program, having signage and celebrating some of the weekend success at some of these local tracks. But we need to definitely have all hands on deck when it comes to trying to make sure that short track racing is healthy, make sure that the tracks are surviving, and that the car counts are good. And it's so that's important. That the tracks that are close to you, close to me, are going to be around for a really long time. And it's a critical time, I think, and it's a critical time now for a lot of these tracks. I don't want to speak out of school, but some of these tracks are teetering on just making it year to year, literally just getting by, and that's a scary situation for a lot of fans, a lot of people all across the country. That any day their track could close, and we see closures, coming at a steady pace. And so I think we need to make sure that somehow the success of what's happening at the Cup level in Xfinity and Truck and all that trickles down into the pockets of track owners and competitors.
I remember when they did that tour of the champions, and like you said, they were sending champions. And in my home track of Twin Falls, Idaho, we had Sterling Marlin come out, and I got the chance to race a limited late model against Kenny Wallace. And I remember when they announced it, the grandstands were packed. Absolutely packed, because Kenny Wallace was racing at Magic Valley Speedway in Twin Falls, Idaho, and it was part of his contract. He even told us, he's like, that was a NASCAR deal. We would go and race a car at one of these tracks, and it was whoever had a car available. Slammed. I mean, you couldn't stand in that place.
Who put on that Tour of Champions?
I don't know. But I remember Sterling Marlin came to Meridian. Rusty Wallace came one time. And I mean, it was, that's a big deal in Twin Falls, Idaho. And the residual was that people that maybe didn't know who was running at their local track knew the name Sterling Marlin. So they came out to Magic Valley Speedway and packed the place. It was really cool to see that trickle down.
Was that Bruce Patrum
I don't
deal?
think it's the same thing, Mike.
Same thing? All right.
But I think that's a great point, that getting some of the stars back to the short tracks. I know some of the stars do that. Please don't come at me. But trying to get them in these areas where they particularly might not go to, right? The local tracks that are in those markets, those race markets. I remember when we were at the Watkins Glen one year, and we had a match race with a bunch of guys. Kyle Petty and all of us went over and ran some track on Friday night or something. It was a blast. We didn't do that enough, and we don't do it enough today.
And last one for you here, from Nick. With the tragic news of the passing of Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins, do you have a favorite Foo Fighters song?
Monkey Wrench is probably my favorite. And I'm like a lot of people. I was a really, really big Nirvana fan, and when Kurt took his life, that was a difficult time, and it was amazing to see Dave Grohl recreate himself musically, and Foo Fighters came out of the gate, and I immediately latched on to their sound and loved what they were doing, and they've been they sustained their success and the pace of productivity over the years. You really love bands that continue to create, continue to provide you with what you want, and that's music, and that's great sounds. And REM and some of those bands with that long staying power, I would put Foo Fighters in that group. So it was that was a difficult piece of news to learn, and I can't imagine what that must be doing to the band, Taylor's family and friends. I imagine that they're still dealing with the shock of that. But Monkey Wrench was my favorite. It's a tool. It's silly, the things that you latch onto, but I love the pace of that song, the video, there's a lot of songs of theirs that I was a big fan of, but Monkey Wrench is top of the list.
Perfect. That is it. That was the last question.
All right, y'all. So great questions. We really got into some good stuff, and I didn't run too long because Matthew never made this sign. Yeah, Matthew never did that.
Wrap it up.
So, anyways, thanks again for Xfinity coming back and being a part of our Ask Junior segment. We love having them supporting our show. And if you need some fast internet and reliable internet, I'm telling you, it's reliable. Xfinity X5 is where it's at. So, Hannah, thanks for being back. And I guess earlier in the show, we established that she's going to stick around for the rest of the year. it's just words. I don't see a contract on the table signed, but I'm going to take you guys at your word that we've got some stability now in a very critical position in a show. We were kind of rudderless there for a while, Mike, but now we are. Now
We're never rudderless.
Now we were lost at sea.
Wilson.
Now we are headed to port. So thank you guys for tuning in, supporting us. Ricky Craven was our guest today. He was great. Ricky had a lot of highs and lows. He brought me this really cool couple. It's just basically, so what I'm holding in my hand is an Earnhardt Racing Team plan for racing in a season. It's kind of a sponsor proposal. So from 1975, Dad and his friends sat down and typed this out. You can see the handwritten notes right here. And they have like plan number 2, plan number 3, plan number 4, plan number 1. And basically it spells out how much money they need to race, where they want to race, the track championships they want to go run and try to win, and Dad's salary. So Dad's salary was $150 a week, proposed salary, so $7,800. He needed 80 tires at $6,000, $77 a tire, and he needed 6 engines. And now there were other proposals where Randy Earnhardt, his brother, would get paid $720 a year, and Danny Earnhardt would get paid $720 a year as well. So, and there's on proposal number 3, for the year.
A year.
There's crew uniforms, which would cost $1,000. The telephone bill would be $240. We're going to include that in the package. Rent for the building, $1,200. 200 tires at $77 a piece, or 10 engines. Really incredible stuff. So Ricky Craven brought this to me. He found this and somebody handed it to him, so he brought it to me. But anyways, thank you, Ricky. He's great to listen to. And that's the show. I hope everybody has a great week. We're wrapping it up. Any last words from Mike Davis?
No, let's go eat some lunch.
All right, let's go have some Bojangles. We'll see y'all later.
All right, guys.